Welcome to this video, where we'll be discussing the steps involved with the procurement process for standard products that do not need a lot of modifications done to them. For example, a catalogue product that may require alternative branding or packaging, for example. The process has just 3 phases, which cover supplier selection through to production and shipping. Phase 1 is supplier selection. Phase 2 is pre-production, and Phase 3 is production. This is the complete flowchart, which is too difficult to see in detail, so in order to help better understand each of the steps, we have separated out the elements of each of the phases. So let's look at the supplier selection phase. Initially, you would need to define your product specification sheet. The purpose of this document is to provide information about the actual product and the specifications that you need that product to meet, as well as any specific changes to the standard product you require, such as logos, packaging, printed instructions, and so on. The next step is to research and find a list of potential suppliers that can produce and supply the product you're looking for. It is important to build a comprehensive detailed list or tracking document which includes supplier's name, address, contact details, as well as any other information you can find, such as how long have they been in business, as this will help you later on when you carry out your due diligence. Once you have your list of potential suppliers, you should contact them and send out a request for quotation. This RFQ should include your expected monthly or annual volumes, modification requirements, packaging requirements, and any other specific requirements you may need. When you get the information back from those suppliers, make sure you add all of the relevant details to your tracking document. This will allow you to review and analyze the data in order for you to identify the top 3 potential suppliers for you to move forward with. It is paramount that you carry out due diligence on your potential suppliers. This should include, but not limited to, researching the suppliers online and, if possible, pay for an in-depth background research on that supplier. Verify the suppliers can supply any documents that you may need and that are authorized to actually supply those documents. Determine how quality control is carried out by the supplier and how they might integrate an external quality control audit into the process. Once you've carried out your due diligence, it is now time to order samples from your top 3 suppliers to verify product details, functionality, and quality levels against your expectations. It is important to spend time really testing the product in order to try and identify any weak points in the design and to find any potential failure modes that may occur which could cause problems for your customers and ultimately you as a seller. After all of the testing, you should have all of the samples ranked in order of preference, and consequently the corresponding suppliers would be ranked in order as well. Phase 2 is the pre-production phase. This is where all the activities take place prior to actually producing the product, which include factory audits, control plans, and purchase orders, as well as the initial payments. It is highly recommended that you visit the supplier's premises or at least get a third-party inspection agency to do that on your behalf. Never part with any money until this is complete. Auditors usually check a factory for capacity and reliability, and they normally verify the following: the facilities and equipment, making sure that they can make the product and that they have the capacity to complete any orders in a reasonable amount of time. They look at the systems and check to see whether there are any dangerous practices. For example, they never check the components from their suppliers, as well as checking the basic information such as the size of the company, the main products they produce, and did the salesman tell you the truth, basically. Every manufacturing process should have a process control plan, and this is something you need to generate in conjunction with your supply partner. Be sure that suppliers buy into the control plan, which should include the relevant acceptable quality levels. The next step is to place the purchase order for your products with a selected supplier. This means you need to be paying a deposit, which is generally around 30% of the purchase order. You should also discuss with your supplier about a communication plan for during production. Phase 3, the last phase, is production. The production phase consists of the process of manufacturing your products, ensuring they are acceptable to be shipped, and then actually shipping the products to the final destination. It is paramount that you follow up with your supplier throughout the entire production process and obtain regular progress reports. Product inspection is a critical step within the overall process. You can either opt for a during production inspection or wait until everything has been completed and carry out a final round of inspection. Or you could have both of them. But anyway, you need to have your goods inspected before they leave the factory, and certainly before you pay the balance on any purchase order. Carrying out an inspection while goods are still at the factory allows you to work with your supplier on any required corrective actions. Because once those products leave the factory, you have very little comeback with that supplier. Once products have been inspected and approved and you are happy with the results, you should sign off production as acceptable with that supplier. This means that products can be prepared for shipping. It also means it's a milestone in the process where product is okay and the final payments need to be paid. The final step in this phase is to ship your products to the final destination, and how you do this will really depend upon a number of different factors, such as the size of your product, the weight of your product, does the product contain hazardous materials, are you importing batteries, amongst a host of other criteria. However you ship your products, ensure you understand the process fully, particularly what paperwork is required. There are specialist third-party companies that can help you with this process if you are unsure on how to do it yourself. So, just to recap the entire process, Phase 1 is supplier selection. This includes defining your specification sheet, identifying potential suppliers, getting quotations, and then carrying out your due diligence on suppliers you have as your top 3. You can then get samples from these suppliers in order to check and test their products. Phase 2 is the pre-production phase. This includes carrying out a factory audit, defining your control plan for production, placing the purchase order, and paying the initial deposit for production. The final phase, Phase 3, is production, which includes the follow-up throughout the entire production process with your supplier, getting products inspected and corrected if needed, approving production parts, and signing them off as acceptable, which leads to the final payment and the balance. And finally, logistics, getting your products from China to the place you need them. We hope you found this of interest and it has helped within your business. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and we'll be sure to come back to you.